So what we're gonna start with is the belly draw, right? And then we're gonna progress into the goblet squat part of the movement. So first things first, what a belly draw is it's not just sucking it in using your lungs and your diaphragm. That's not a belly draw. You see like really skinny dudes can sometimes pull it all the way in, they look like their waist is this big. That's not what we're doing. We want to use the actual muscles of the wall, of your thoracic wall, to do that. One way you know you're doing it right is you can breathe relatively shallowly, sure. And you can talk lightly. But if you are doing it incorrectly and you're using your diaphragm and your lungs, then you actually cannot talk. It's also, when you use your lungs, it's gonna pull it all the way in. It's not really what we're looking for right now. So the cues I want you to focus on, and you can do this in the mirror because it helps, and you put your hand here or on both sides of your obliques, right? And what you wanna do is you wanna draw your belly in and down, but I want you to focus on your obliques, right? So here and here, I want you to focus on bringing it in and down. So, I wish I had a better shirt for this, but, right? So we're gonna be a little pregnant, we're gonna be chilling, and then we're gonna bring it in and down, and I can still kind of talk, and I can still kind of breathe, but I can feel a deep contraction here. You might feel it back here too, pulling it in. Because what it does is the transverse abdominis, which is probably one of the more important muscles that we do train while we're under a barbell, a heavy barbell, but also with our planks and stuff. Except it's not trained directly, and in my opinion, well, it's not really my opinion, it's basically what the literature says, there's a lot of proprioceptive awareness in there. It's highly, highly innervated, and what happens is when we train it and get it strong, or at least use it with repetition correctly in isolation form, which is what we're going for right here, it works in conjunction with the multifidus, which is those little tiny muscles in your spine, the one that we've been addressing since day one, right, to downregulate your pain. So now you got both of these going at each other, and it's like, whoa, all of a sudden you have all this stability, or at least your brain is perceiving it as stability, and we're not going to manifest pain there. So, one more time. You can touch them, right? Yeah, there we go. We're gonna go be fat, relaxed, right? You bring it, draw in, and down, right? So I'm imagining a 45-degree angle. You know what? I am way over my weight class, but we're just gonna, right? So if we're just very normal, chilling, right? Looks pregnant, and then you bring it in and down, and see how my ribs went down a little? Let me get a little closer. So very normal, right? Bring it in and down. And see, I can still talk like this, but I can feel a deep contraction right in my obliques and really down here. You're not gonna feel it so much up here, even though it does attach to up there, but it's neither here nor there. So now, from there, after you mastered that standing, we are going to go into a goblet squat doing the same thing. Paused goblet squat with a belly draw. So you're gonna get a very lightweight, 20, 30, 40, let's start pretty light. 25, grab it 25. You're gonna front rack it however you need to. If you have a kettlebell, probably so much easier, right? So you got your front rack, get your feet in your squat position with toes more forward. If you can get them perfectly forward, that's great. If that's what you got a little bit, it's totally fine too. We just want to really strengthen that internal rotation in your hips. So loaded, feet kind of forward. We're gonna draw in, and we're gonna go down, and your butt is gonna curl, right? Drop, but keep your belly drawn in and up. And up. It's a lot easier with your heels, right? But the focus is to not lose that belly draw force through the whole thing. The descent should be very controlled, but the ascent on the way up should be rather explosive. Not so explosive that you lose control, because it is a lightweight, remember? But we do need this to, we need to maintain that tightness in the draw all the way down into the pause, and ideally on the way up, but I know that, sorry, that's my mom. I know that it's hard to do this at first and you might lose your breath, which is totally fine, which is why we're only gonna do it a handful of reps at a time.